Let's find out. All right, so I started recording. I'll do this and then move it back. So that way I can check and see what the recording is.
Yeah.
Well, because I think that if I switch it to speaker view, it would record in speaker view.
That could be.
I think, because I think some of the early videos are that way. So who knows? Yeah. So interesting news about Dizzle. It is. Oh, I don't know. Something about him, just every part of him just annoys me.
Yeah, even after all these years.
It is. And I looked at, so it came through in my email and my LinkedIn about his new position. And I clicked his profile. And what he does, he has really good descriptions of what he's worked on.
Oh, of course he does.
And what he does is, and I only figured it out with his latest job, he takes the job description that he applied for and puts it in his LinkedIn profile. Because at the end of his LinkedIn profile, at the end of that particular job on his LinkedIn profile, it says, and other duties as required, or something like that.
So he didn't even do that all that great.
Oh, correct. Yeah, he just copy-pasted and didn't even read it. There it is, yeah. Perform other duties as assigned is what it says at the end. Yeah.
So it's like taking out the garbage.
Probably.
Sharpening pencils for people.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Create digital front-end layouts, including wireframes, web architecture, and UX UI, according to current standards, best practices, and cross-browser compatibilities. Perform other duties as designed or as assigned.
Yeah, so that would be making sure that the web color safe chart is up and visible to
firmly affixed to the side of the cube.
that Yoda is nowhere near Darth Vader.
Well, no, they can't be close. They have to be separate. I'm just looking up. I wish they had pictures of the inside of the office. I'd just like to imagine him sitting there.
Well, I just take any brick wall and stick anything web related circa 1996.
What I like to look at though is, does he have his own cube? Is it one of the co-working style, hip places where no one really has a assigned desk? Is he, because if no one had an assigned desk, what would he do?
Well, here's the thing, and this annoys me now that I just think about it. We could do a Dilbert style, like we could take the Dilbert cartoons, and the only thing that we would have to change is make Dilbert skinny and a hipster
with glasses.
Well, because he already has glasses.
Oh yeah. But he'd need like hipster glasses.
Oh yeah, maybe a goatee,
the goatee, a little bald head,
little goatee and a bald head, and now we have the Dizzle strip.
Oh, I hate him.
With very little effort, we could totally repurpose Dilbert, which is a wildly successful cartoon.
It is. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I couldn't do it. I couldn't handle. I can't handle thinking about it. I'm sitting here thinking about it, and he annoys me so badly.
Because what would happen is, we would then make Dizzle a likable household or office character,
right?
And I don't want to be responsible for that.
I don't want to be responsible for that. And in addition, I can't think about him try to come up with cartoons and what he's up to. He is such just a know-nothing idiot that I couldn't handle it. I couldn't as part of the content creation have to think about what he might be up to.
Well, but that's the thing. I think that you could literally just buy a Dilbert calendar.
Just steal it word for word.
just almost word for word. I mean, you would probably have to change 10 words throughout the entire year.
Yeah.
Instead of like corporate America, make it, more startup America, startup life and stuff like that. So, I mean, just changing little minute descriptions, and then you're redrawing everyone. So Dilbert's boss is just a younger hipster.
Yeah, that's a good
wearing a T-shirt.
Well, yeah.
Well, everyone's wearing a T-shirt, but
everyone is.
So you would use maybe Mark Zuckerberg as the caricature of Zuckerberg as Dilbert's boss.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. Like I said, I couldn't,
or Craig from
Yeah, that would be pretty. That would be good, actually. Yeah, Craig, like real. Have you ever watched? Do you ever watch the show Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
So I think his name is Chris. He's like super healthy and he runs all the time.
Yep, I know exactly.
That guy.
That guy, yeah. So that's Dilbert's boss.
Yeah, yeah. Super like hey, Dizzle, you're doing a great job.
Actually, I think there might be something to this whole little cartoon series, because there's not really much out there like making fun of web culture, and that could be it.
Yeah, and I think that there's more Dizzles than we think, right? There's more people, but the most annoying thing about a Dizzle is that they are so good at being a Dizzle, it's very, very difficult to catch them out.
But that's the thing, you start writing the cartoon strip, highlighting the Dizzles, and then you have like the two guys that are actually doing all the work,
right? That
are constantly getting cracked on.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So it's almost like an Office, Parks and Rec, Dilbert mashup.
Well, because the Dizzle though has to be in a position of power. Right, I mean,
yes. So the Dizzle is that middle management layer.
Yes, right. But so he's not a good manager. So he can't go up anywhere. But he's not a good hands-on kind of person. So he can't do the job of the people which is fine. That's I don't expect that all my supervisors would be as good at every detail thing that I can do. That's not the point.
Right.
But don't pretend is the thing that annoys me. Yeah.
I think that there could be a lot of little laughs there.
Yeah, there could. I wonder if people would find it bullying or something. I don't know.
Oh, we live in such a weird culture. Who knows? And those line drawings aren't anything. If I get bored, maybe I'll look up a couple of Dilbert cartoons and see what
see if we get inspiration.
Yeah. If it comes to be something, great. If not, who cares?
Yeah.
But that could be a decent therapy outlet for us, to really dive into our Dizzle aggression.
And that might work, actually. That might work. I have a guy who's on one of the teams that I work with right now who, now, unfortunately, he's a developer. Unfortunately for him, he's a developer, but he's a Dizzle. But he's a different breed than the original Dizzle. He's a different breed because he's a talk too much Dizzle. He's like a filibuster style Dizzle, right? That's his thing, is where he'll talk and so I'll say, well, I noticed this problem with this plugin, and I was going to make some edits to it, and so yep, that plugin is tricky. What I mean? That's his contribution. I've noticed that plugin is buggy. That's your contribution. That's it. What do you know what I mean? And
I read that on Reddit one year.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, I have noticed too when I've used that plugin that sometimes I get weird results.
Have you?
Yeah, but no. So nothing specific. He doesn't say, "Yeah, I've gotten errors," because that's not right. Because
because then you would have to actually tell what type of error it was.
Right. Then I could say, well, where did we? Oh, that might be helpful to me. Where did you get the error? He doesn't say that. He's just said, yeah, I've noticed it's weird results. Well, where? I don't remember. It was a while ago. I just remember that it was some weird thing. Just completely unhelpful filibustering comments.
It's a new plugin. It was the first version was just released yesterday.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly.
How long ago was it?
I must be thinking about something else. And that's it. You know what I mean? But well, what we think about, I'm not sure, but it must have been something similar, to that. And it's like you're just talking. You're just trying. It's okay. You don't have to prove yourself. Don't worry about it. If you have nothing to comment about what we're talking about, don't comment. Let it go. But that's a slightly different kind of Dizzle.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of Dizzles out there.
Yeah.
And we've kind of cataloged a few of them over the years. We've never actually written anything down, which maybe we should have. But
maybe we should.
There's definitely lots and lots of Dizzles out there.
Maybe people aren't as bothered by it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the people who consume the cartoons and consume that type of content are the Dizzles, and our idea wouldn't go anywhere because everyone would be like, no, this is just stupid.
Oh, I think that it comes in, two flavors. The Dizzles would be like, because in most of those strips, the Dizzle character is getting away with murder. And
that's right.
In all instances. So the Dizzles that are reading are like, look at how funny is this? This guy is great.
They're taking notes.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely taking notes.
Yeah.
And then and the guys like us, we're just like,
right.
Wow, that is really true. There's a lot of and it's funny because it's true. And then there's the other folks, the actual high ups, which probably aren't reading any comic strips anyway.
No, they're too busy.
But if they do, they're like, wow, I'm glad this doesn't happen to my company.
Yeah, exactly. With all the people we have here in television. Yeah. Meanwhile, it only works because there's like 4 people making everything work.
You're right. So I think that's why the Dilbert cartoon strip is so popular, because you can it hits that nerve of corporate life, like internal Microsoft life. Whereas I think that having that same type of thing where you're just making fun of startup culture is the same thing. It's like it's Parks and Rec for if The Office was actually made for startups.
Yeah.
They'd be like, well, hey, we had foosball tables today.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Scooters. I brought in scooters.
Today. And then, the next week it can be the Repo Man taking away the scooters because the Series A didn't come through.
Right. Well, so I've never watched it, but there was a show about coding, wasn't there?
Oh, I have no idea. That would be an incredibly boring TV show.
It was, and I don't think it went very far, but I think that was a little too specific. I don't think it was as broad as your idea, which your idea is like The Office, but kind of modernized.
Yeah, Dilbert cartoon series, except instead of IBM, early Facebook or.
Well, the other thing though is in the Dilbert comics, isn't everyone in there an idiot? Isn't every character an idiot?
I'm not sure.
I think that's what makes it funny. I don't know if there's anyone doing good work.
And maybe. I don't know. I'll confess that I don't think I've actually read a Dilbert comic ever.
I've read some, certainly, but not enough to get a feel for the family.
Right. And you're right. And I would be lying if I said ever, because obviously I wouldn't come up with the Dilbert series if I didn't have an idea behind it. But
yeah, but not a fan or not some type of.
No, I couldn't tell you any character's name other than Dilbert.
Right. Oh no, that's right. That's right.
And if I tried, it's going to be mixing up with the Archer characters.
Oh, I would get it confused with like Calvin and Hobbes.
But no, I think that there could be some fun there to be had. Certainly, if you had an inclination of to draw and some artistic talent or whatnot, because certainly the fodder is just.
Oh yeah.
There's just. I'm actually surprised it's not out there. That there isn't an internet comic strip.
I don't know
about this.
Maybe that's what Reddit is. Reddit is like the answer for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you? So how terrible would it be to work at the same company as Dizzle and he's on site and you're remote. How just ludicrous. How oh, that would just drive me insane. So you're on these meetings and he's, on the phone. He's in the room and he's purposely pointing out things that he knows you weren't a part of the conversation and stuff. He would, you know what I mean? That's what he would do constantly. Is he would
you're right about that.
And then there would be no catching him out, right? I mean, he would be in on everything. Well, think about when,
Well, that's exactly what had happened before, I think.
Right. His status update for 3 days in a row was installing Photoshop. And we were right there in the room. And we're like, what do you say? Well, you're just so blatantly ludicrous.
Like you're not even trying now.
No. So what you're talking about, like 8 hours, right? I mean, well, let's say 7 hours because we have a few meetings. You're 21 hours into a Photoshop install. We could have bought you a new computer for that cost.
With Photoshop pre-installed.
Yeah, with it already installed. Exactly.
From Adobe.
Right. I mean, because you figure a new computer, probably these workstations that most places get what are they, like $1,000? Probably, thereabouts.
Well, think about what's Adobe's new pricing model where it's
$10 a month, I think,
right,
for the one app.
So they're Adobe moving away from actual physical software into cloud software has just crushed his status updates.
Mm-hmm.
What's he going to say?
He would come up with something. I've been dealing with a network connectivity issue. There's a licensing problem. It'd be something.
Yeah, I think I have it narrowed down to my MAC address.
Yeah, right.
Or their MAC address.
Right. Yeah, I've been working with IT here, and it's very frustrating. But no blocks, no updates, other than not getting this installed.
Yeah, other than all the blocks.
Other than everything is blocked. No new blocks is what I mean.
No building blocks, except for the Lego set that I just purchased.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
On my neck, on my desk.
Right, it's the UI development. It's a city one. So I have not posted last week's video because I know we wanted to make some edits to it, or at least cut part of it up and make one private. So I haven't done that yet. I'm still looking to take this format of you and I next to each other and possibly put stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Black area. So I was going to do that, and I'll get that along with this video done this week. I'm very busy.
And yeah, I've been exceptionally busy this entire month and haven't had a chance to cut up video and actually get stuff pushed up to my YouTube channel either. So that's
what I was going to ask you about, is if you had because I subscribe to your channel and I get up.
Yeah, I have not put any new updates on, and I have a ton of video to actually.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because I have that entire build finished. Yeah. So it's a matter of just getting the video out and narrating through it all.
That's cool.
So doing the voiceover. So there's going to be a lot of videos that'll go up at one time.
Yep.
Probably close to like 10 videos or something. But
that's cool. That'd be cool.
It is just a matter of finding the time to.
So the 10 videos, though, that's part 1 through part 10 of the same build.
Well, it'll be like a portion of it will be some of those videos will be I'll probably put into like a how-to playlist.
Okay.
And so they'll be very, very short, probably 1 to 5 minutes of how to do this and how to do that. The build itself will probably maybe break up into 3 sections. Probably the upper and the lower, so that'll be 2 very long ones. I mean, so I'd imagine that each of those videos might be 10 minutes long. I'd say that they're going to be some of my longer videos.
Yeah.
And then I would need to actually do some recording of me actually firing the thing, and then maybe do an overview of what just everything that I put on. So not the actual build, but this is the final product, and taking close-ups and stuff like that. And, so so there's some footage to be left on that piece, but so I think that the build will have 3 videos: the upper, the lower, and then the actual finished product.
Okay.
And I might do one where it's just me talking about the goals of the project. So maybe introing the product or the project and saying that this is what my goals were, or this is what the goals are for the project, and this is why I'm selecting what I'm selecting, and go. So, but I don't know if there's a lot of value in that. You can probably do that after the fact recap of, here was my initial goals. This is what happened. This is what I ended up with. And so 6 of one, half dozen of another.
That's what I was going to say. I can see both. I don't, both. I think both would be pretty good. So I do have a specific question. Then, so have you videotaped actually firing a weapon before?
No.
I was just wondering if what you use to tape it, or you can't put the tripod on the same table that you have.
Oh yeah, you can.
Oh, so do you use like the bags?
Sometimes, and then this gun has a tripod on it or a bipod on it anyway. So you can hold everything. So the shooting benches at the range are large enough to where you can set up a tripod either on the ground or on the bench itself. Or, so it definitely that'll be interesting. I'm not sure what the vibration is going to be like. When you actually fire, if it vibrates the bench. I mean, it's certainly the gun moves, for sure. But and then I'm thinking, taking like an iPhone, one of my spare old iPhones, and putting it on a tripod out by the target to see if you can
see you. Can you get down by the target and face back?
Well, you wouldn't see a lot. I think I'm going to get it down by the target, like looking up at the target, so that you can
I see. Okay,
see the impacts as they hit.
That's
and
pretty cool.
Kind of splice that, have it down in the corner or something like that.
Yeah. That's a real cool idea. Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm thinking like the shooting angles could be, profile, you in the scope kind of looking, or even have it down by the barrel.
Yep.
At the end of the barrel, kind of looking back at you as you're aiming down.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of different things to try there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And
that'd be pretty cool. Do you have a GoPro?
I don't, and this might be a good reason to get one.
I was thinking something small that like you could you could try putting it on your head. You know what I mean? You could try putting it everywhere.
Well, and there's it's interesting because there's there's mounts for GoPros that goes onto I'm almost positive I've seen them, and I'd be surprised if they don't exist. That there's a Picatinny like a rail mount that you can put your GoPro on, and then you can attach that to the rail of your gun. Yeah. So you can get either a look back at you or a look down the barrel, or any one of a number of things. Because what I would like to do is figure out a way to have a camera looking down the scope as well, so that
that's cool,
because there you have it, because now with every optics that you get, if you can do that, now when I can review optics and say, hey, this is what I like about it, I like this reticle, and here it is. So I think there's a lot of fun things that you could potentially do. It's just a matter of finding the time and getting out there and doing it.
So do they have scopes that you can, they have like a USB output or something?
No. But the scope is just, it's like a camera lens. So it has a certain eye relief. So I would imagine, if I could take my iPhone and hold it right here at a certain distance away from the scope, I should get that same view.
Oh, and you would then be able to just look at the iPhone screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, of course. Oh, yeah. Because I was going to say you wouldn't be able to see if you had the camera in the way.
Right.
But as long as you were able to see the
so long as I had and that's where I think that, the jewel or the Gorilla Grip mount thing. You might be able to wrap it around in such a way that it's going to hold there steady enough to where you can
That's pretty cool.
Grip and shoot. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. No, that would be good.
But yeah, I purchased a membership at a gun range so that I, don't have to keep bugging my one buddy to go out there and do that, because you feel a little bit douchey when
when you show up with one gun in a small bag and your larger bag is just all camera gear, microphones.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go out there, like, when it's not real busy, and figure all this stuff out first.
Yes.
And that way I can just do it at my leisure.
Well, and we talked about it a couple times now, but there is definitely a buildup of. There's definitely a buildup. I don't know what it is, but a loss of some type, a loss of something where you're not embarrassed to do this and talk. You know what I mean? And you say, hey, we're going to take a look at that. You know what I mean? And,
you're walking down the street or whatever. There's probably a point where that loss of inhibition happens.
That's a good word. Because but the thing is, watching those people in the videos isn't at all bothersome. It doesn't bother me at all to watch that. It's when you see them walking by a mirror or a window, and you see that they're holding a tripod, and then it's like that would be really weird.
Yeah,
be in an airport or to be in the street, or
holding your selfie cam out. And, because I know. I mean, shoot, because I have a little issue with the narcissism of society in general.
Yeah.
So seeing that, it's like, geez, stop.
Yep. I guess. I mean, I would imagine if I had 20,000 subscribers, which is a pretty low number, really. But if I had 20,000 subscribers and I was getting 2,000 or 3,000 views per video, then I would say I don't care about these idiots around me. There's a couple thousand people interested in what I have to say, obviously. So
that's true, and because there's a lot. I think there's a lot more to be said about social proof like that than there actually is about monetary proof. Because would you do it for money? Maybe. Yeah. Maybe not. I mean,
right.
There's a lot of things that we don't do for money.
Right.
But if there's social proof out there, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and you're getting comments, and people are asking questions, and people are interested in what you're saying. Then you're like, well, maybe it's not. It becomes less weird, less hard. So we'll change. I had a couple thoughts. I don't know if you looked into anything. So I don't know the best way. I suppose we could probably just talk about our idea, even if it's somewhat specific. I don't think people are going to steal it or do it. But so our idea of the videos with video replies, with our own video hosting. And I was looking at. Have you ever heard of World Star Hip Hop?
No.
World Star Hip Hop is a pretty big is a pretty big app, and what it is you install it on your phone. It ends up it ends up getting lots of video, lots of really good kind of viral videos, but it'll be a lot of kids, and they will record it on their phone, and it gets uploaded to the World Star universe, and then it gets voted on, and people share it and stuff like that. But it generally ends up being a lot of fights and a lot of
of course,
just real crazy stuff, road rage incidents and blah blah. But I was looking at theirs, and theirs is about 90% self-hosted, or else I was looking at how they store their videos, and they are their own domain. There's a few that because you can submit videos on their web app, and their web app allows you to submit YouTube videos. So if you had a YouTube video, and they leave it there, they leave it hosted on YouTube and embed it. But for the most part, so it is something to look into, is that World Star Hip Hop. But I think that it's probably very similar to Snapchat, where you are recording whatever, and it gets uploaded to their thing, and then the number of shares it gets makes it more popular and makes it featured. And then in the app, you can watch other videos. Like I said, WorldStar, though, is known for being a lot of fights and a lot of just craziness and a lot of high school and, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. But I think it's probably somewhat of a good model anyway.
Sure.
But so like I said, I don't know about the cost of it. I mean, I think that's probably expensive to host video, but I don't really know.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, video is obviously a lot larger than images.
Yeah.
You can store images pretty cheaply with Amazon.
Or shoot even text. I mean, you think about Yahoo Answers, right? I mean, Yahoo Answers has very little images.
Oh yeah, so when you're just talking text, how easy is that? You have a database, and that's that, and so everything becomes exceptionally easy. With video, it's just that much harder.
Yeah. So, but I mean, we could. That's what. So I'll look into that a little bit. It's just like transfer costs and stuff like that, because that's what it would be. I think storage is cheap. Storage is not a big deal. It's the transfer of it's that live streaming. You know what I mean? That's what's going to do it. Of video.
Yeah, because you'd end up looking. You'd have to end up using some sort of video CDN like Akamai or something like that. That, and I'm sure Amazon has something like that would allow you to do streaming versus full on download and play.
Right. Yeah. So you could potentially I think that's and maybe correct me if it's just obvious, but the difference with streaming is that you aren't downloading the entire file. Right. So if it's a 40 meg video, you could watch half of it and it's only going to be 20 megs. You don't have to pull all 40. Right,
because you're constantly, pulling down. It's almost like just in time. The next 10 seconds or.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have to look into transfer cost of video and then live streaming the video. The other thing that WorldStar does, and YouTube does it as well on the web, is it's a Flash player. I mean, is Flash really still a better answer for on the web?
Does YouTube do that in Chrome?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. Let me take a look.
No, it is HTML5 in Chrome.
Okay, so let's assume that this is the better way to do it.
Yeah. So, but you can't. I mean, you can't always do HTML5 because Internet Explorer.
Correct. Right.
Yeah. So, but you'd probably be fine to do HTML5 in most mobile.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that I was thinking about is to look into that you want the player to not just play the video, right? You need to have options in the middle of or all the time. So we'll talk about the obvious. At the end of the video, it needs to suggest other videos, right? That's an obvious one, right? Mm-hmm. So it needs to come up and have like a thing. But the other thing is, I need a way. So if you're in a 2-minute video of someone asking a question, I want to be able to quote something that you're saying in a 15, from 48 seconds to 1 minute and 4 seconds. I want to be able to mark that.
Right.
So this is what I'm replying to, and be able to maybe pull that part out, because now I'm 40 comments down, right? And and I want to be able to say, you said this, and now I want to answer this or something. You know what I'm saying? So a way to pull out pieces of the video like that.
And now this is exactly the part where people are like,
Yeah. Now it gets tough, right? I mean, now we're getting tricky,
And I mean, all that is conceptually feasible. I mean, you're only talking about timestamps in a given video.
Mm-hmm.
So all that is, is available to you in any HTML5 player. You can get those start and end points, and you can save those, and do whatever you want to do with them.
Right.
Create a link back that you can start a specific video at this point or at this position. So it's all there. It's just like, do you?
Right. How important is it?
Right. It's getting over that. Like, wow, it would take a lot to build, and it's going to be pretty front end intensive. You'd probably want to do this in like Angular or similar. I don't know. Because it just seems like it's so much easier to deal with all this stuff inside of a big JavaScript framework like that.
Right.
Maybe React. I don't know. I mean,
well, and that's the other thing is that I don't know if it's better to do it as a native app or not. I'm not sure how well. If we're building a video player anyway, and we're building all this kind of custom HTML5 functionality, is it easier just to get an Android and iOS app built that will allow you to do it? So.
Well, because that's the thing. I mean, at what point, do you need all of it? And
yeah,
and maybe with that, maybe it's you just do it in Ionic or something.
Yeah,
and because you can use
proof of concept.
Just prove the concept, and you can have a decent enough browser experience with an Ionic app.
Yeah.
So you're just adding desktop as another platform.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah.
So you can still do everything and keep it in that same code base. You need a back end, to actually write things to the database and stuff. But
yeah,
I don't know what that would be. And I mean, me being in Ruby and Rails, it's like, oh, I'll just do that in Ruby. That's easy enough.
And I think that is the answer for now. Yeah. I mean, there's no, and I think about it too. Is like when Mark Zuckerberg sat down to write the Facebook app, he wasn't worried about data centers and
no.
So I think that is the key, right? Is just to let's get something done.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think that even if it's not our MVP yet, our end goal, is something that is different than YouTube's ability to have video replies, because no one uses it, right? I mean, you're able to reply in a video with your own video.
Really?
And that goes to, I mean, it doesn't. No one does it, right? I mean, I don't know if I can count on one hand the number of times I've even seen it.
I actually find, and this is just my ignorance of YouTube, the ability to reply directly to someone's comment was not obvious to me at first.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Where I would reply and just name them in my own comment
as a new thread.
As a new thread.
Yeah.
This is annoying. And then I finally, so it's just a bad UI.
Yeah.
That I didn't see the actual reply, or I didn't hover in the exact right spot to get the reply link to actually show up.
And actually, now that I'm saying that, it's possible that you can't do that anymore. That you can't embed a video in the comment. I don't know. I'd have to look, but I know that at one time that was the case, that you could have video replies. You might just have to link to your own video now, which is not what we're talking about, but
right.
So, but that, like I said, that should be like kind of our stretch goal, is to really think through how that UI looks, and and people accept different things, right? I mean, so Quora is set up different than Yahoo Answers, which is set up different than Reddit. I mean, Reddit really gets everything collapsed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I mean, you really gotta. It's sometimes not even obvious that there are multiple threads.
Right. You're just drilling down. And
yeah.
I personally don't like reading Reddit.
Reddit is difficult. Yeah.
I find it hurtful to my eyes. So I just avoid it at all.
However, there's plenty of users. What I mean?
Yes. Obviously I'm in the minority there.
Yeah. But again, I think that, I mean, you could really get deep into rabbit holes, and you're way, 7 or 8 levels deep. Like I said, so maybe as our well, we'll see. But I mean, it has to be different than that. You know, I mean, we have to come up with a way of not having to scroll up and say, well, what did they even say at 15 seconds? You know what I mean? You're quoting something I have to go watch it again, you know, and scroll back up to the top and come back up. So there has to be, I think, some way of pulling those bits, you know, and doing that. But I mean, I think there's a lot of potential for it, really, not to take over Stack Overflow or Yahoo Answer or anything else, but possibly to take over Yahoo Answers, actually. I don't think that's a bad goal. I think that it will be set up pretty well for Yahoo Answers, but Stack Overflow is not. Reddit is always going to be Reddit, I believe. But then to have like Amazon say, we want to do that because that's much better to our question and answers, to do it in video, is much cooler, you know, or something. I don't know, you know. So but I do think there's a lot of.
I think that there's definitely something there. You know, we'll have to. I mean, and this is the thing that you and I have always kind of lacked is, it would be nice to have a designer.
Yeah.
Or to have like a UI person that'd be like, yeah, that's a cool idea, and this is how it really should work.
Yeah.
Or here's 3 different options for how it could work. You know? But yeah, it's that user experience that I'm personally not. I wouldn't say great at, but it's not my first cup of tea, I guess.
Yeah, me neither. And I'm taking a note of that. But yeah, I mean, definitely not. I mean, definitely I'm not a UI person. I think that I can look at things just like anyone else and say, this doesn't work. But coming up with the solution is not what I'm good at all.
Right. And that's what usually takes, for me, dealing with the UI anymore, it's just like, wow, it just takes an incredibly long amount of time. Whereas implementing like a backend or API solution, it's like, oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
That can be done, pretty trivially.
Well, yeah. I mean, you think if we were to do it, it would end up. I mean, you imagine how Twitter Bootstrap would do it, and that's what it would look like. And that's not really what we want, right? It has to be something better. I mean, like Google Wave, was just a horrific train wreck, right? I mean, it was just difficult to learn. It was very good. It was a very good idea. I mean, Google Wave was supposed to replace email, right? I mean, that's what. Remember when they were talking about that?
They were talking about. Leo Laporte was all about that.
Oh yeah, but they had probably a team of pretty well-paid UI people, and it seemed like a great thing. It just didn't work. But so I don't know.
And maybe that's the failing of the modern UI engineer.
Yeah.
Catch my air quotes.
Yeah.
That they completely underestimate the average intelligence of
or
the intelligence of the average internet user.
Yeah.
Whereas, I think in just about any type of UI, whether it's your automobile steering wheel to radio consoles or whatever, you really do have to play to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
I have gotten into a car, and it's like the UI doesn't have to be that different in cars. But how many cars have you driven that it's almost a re-education every time you get in because someone decided to get fancy with how the turn signal works.
Oh yeah, and you can't exactly.
Or God forbid, you can actually, turn on the headlights the same way in every car.
Right. So, I put a link to World Star Hip Hop in there.
Yeah, cool.
Lots of ads. Actually, the ad is larger than anything else on the folder. So they have like they have so WorldStar is such a big app that they do have like famous rappers who use it.
Okay.
So if we dug down far enough, there'd be probably we'd find like Snoop Dogg and Kanye and people like that, but they do it from like on stage and stuff, like, you know what I mean? So
Sure.
those videos end up in here. But then you get, just the regular viral videos, which come through YouTube. And then you also get, anytime there's a fight breakout in a school, that's what you get. There's road rage, etc. So.
All right.
So,
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting idea, and and again, it's like one of those things that it's almost a full time job to actually develop something like this, where you almost have to like pitch it and get funding to work on it for a year and see what you actually have.
Yeah,
because just kind of thinking about it just seems a little daunting, as we were just talking about, like you said, replying to a segment of a video.
right.
I'm like that got me. That was like, oh,
that's a big one.
that's I can kind of imagine how the database looks, but I can also imagine the frustration of building it out and testing it, and and that's I don't think that it's super complex, but it is definitely time consuming in my mind.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not a 5.
Not a 5 what?
Yeah, if you're estimating this out,
right. It's not a single task. They I was just looking up, I read I came across on my Twitter, I think, about Pluralsight, that they had like recently redone their offices or something. You're familiar with Pluralsight?
Yes.
And I think that they have 130 full-time employees.
Wow.
And I don't think that includes authors. Well, it can't, right? Because I know the authors aren't on site. So they have, and so just to give you an indication, right, of how large a project this might be, is that Pluralsight is nothing like this. Pluralsight is just a regular video website. You know what I mean? It just is YouTube behind a paywall, and with maybe a little bit better search algorithm. Mm-hmm. But what are the 130 people doing? Right? What do you got? What are they working on in there?
I don't know.
They had to work on something, so I'm saying that's
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. It's like this could easily be a startup, and in fact should probably be a startup, because the goal of this startup is to disrupt the answer market.
Yeah,
thinking Yahoo Answers with probably the goal of exiting by having one of the larger Q&A sites or Q&A providers purchasing and then integrating with their user base.
Yes.
Because it's not like you're going to shut down Yahoo Answers.
No.
But Yahoo Answers might gain market share over Quora if they had this.
Correct.
Or vice versa.
Or Amazon wants to do this. Amazon, because Amazon has those questions, right? I mean, that's pretty simplistic question answer thing there. Yeah. So, and when you buy stuff from Amazon, you get the emails and say, hey, so-and-so's asked a question about something, do you know the answer? But if it came through on your phone, which it does, and you watched a video and they said, hey, does this vacuum cord, does it reach under the bed? You know what I mean? Or does it, and you could, just easily reply and say, yeah, look. And, and that was your reply. I mean, that's way better than just saying yes.
Right. It does for me, but my bed's 3 feet wide.
Exactly. Yeah. Here's what my bed looks like, instead of trying to describe, well, my bed is pretty high though, because I'm not going to go measure my bed for this jackass who wants to know, can I vacuum under the bed?
Right.
So, but again, if, like I said, if I could be like, well, you want to see it? Hell, hold on. Let me run it under my bed. You can see how high it is. 10 seconds, right? 8 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, but I do think that that's a good exit strategy. I mean, there's definitely an exit there, right? I mean, someone would want to use this and integrate this.
Right. Yeah, I would think so. Because they're so providing that you can get enough people on board with it, and we can get enough people using it and answering and posting those videos. Yeah, I think that there's definitely that potential. Just because there's no one else doing it, but then you got to think, well, is it going to be like Meerkat and Periscope, where we start at it and one gets picked up, the other doesn't, or which one wins. Story of our lives. This is likely already out there, and some in some fashion that we just haven't found yet.
I did try. I tried to look.
Okay.
And I couldn't find anything. And I also looked about why doesn't Yahoo Answers allow video replies and stuff like that? And it's people speculating, and just saying, well, because it's easier to read, you're easier to answer in text and stuff like that, but it's all just speculation. And some of them are, a year or two old,
right?
Before everyone, literally, like I said, I'm interacting with Amazon on my phone pretty often. I get messages as things are shipped, and I get messages about this and that.
Well, and not only that, but I mean, you can text to speech isn't quite there yet, but you can certainly, I think even YouTube to a certain degree now can parse through video and pull out a reasonable amount of speech to text.
Yeah. It can do auto captions. You're right; they're not very good, but nothing is before it is.
Right, exactly, and that's only going to get better.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
But I mean, and that's a cool partnership. Think of like this partnering with Dragon to, provide text for these videos, because now you have the option. You can either watch the video or you can read it. What do you want?
Yeah, that's true. The unfortunate part is this doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't it doesn't benefit anyone that's handicapped in any way. It doesn't bring anything to, what I mean? It's which is unfortunate, because I would like to say, well, it's really good for the blind because now they can just listen. But again, if it's written out, I mean, if it's written out in a nice answer, they have screen readers that will read it for the
right.
For people who are visually impaired. So, like it's, but that's not a good enough reason to say forget it. But yeah, it's a big deal, and I think that we'll talk about it for a couple more weeks here and see if we want to.
Well, that's the big thing. I mean, because it really is the fact is like, wow, because it's such a big project that, like, right now I'd be like, I have no idea, if I could commit that type of time to it.
Right.
But I don't even know what that type of time is,
right.
Who knows? But having just something that works, just to see if there's something there.
Yeah.
But then, it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, and so we'll change topics one more time, and then we could probably call it. But I've been trying to look up, and I think this is a thing, but I'm trying to come up with $1,000 a month business ideas. So pretty small ideas, something that just makes you $1,000. It's not a whole ton of work. Maybe there's a front loading work, but it's not a ton of work to continue. So you figure if you could start one of these every other month, right? So it takes you a month to do it, a month of work to really get it off the ground, and then it could kind of self-support and needed just a little bit of push, but you could keep it going. So every other month you were starting one of these, you could be adding 6,000 a year and then 12,000, you know what I mean, to your income. So I sent you that other link there to a Reddit page, and there's other things like this page. So this is a Reddit, somebody make this. And this is for people who have ideas and just don't have the time or the ability or whatever. And some of them are pretty cool. I mean, some of them maybe just to think about. But yeah, so that's, like I said, that's what I've been trying to work on, is the $1,000 a month business plans.
I love the idea, but I just clicked the link and I got a 503 from Reddit. All of our servers are busy right now.
Oh my gosh.
How can all of your servers be busy? You're Reddit, and you probably use Amazon. There you go.
It's loading for me. That's.
I should have screen captured.
Yeah, you should have.
Because I can't imagine that ever happens.
No.
And I can't click back. That's unfortunate. That's funny. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, it's quite a few pages. But some of them are completely absurd. But some of them, like I said, are actually pretty good. And yeah, so something to think about. So I check it out. I check it, maybe twice a week to see, because they don't get updated very often. But
a children's show for deaf people.
I remember I saw that one.
Turn any web page into a mind map. That seems like too much work.
That'd be a lot of work.
Word museum of pirates, cheaters, a world museum.
I did read that one. And so yeah, when you have a minute, read all the details about that. It actually is pretty. It would actually be a pretty cool like museum that he's got laid out, where people are like doing pickpocketing, like right there, and kind of like street cons and street scams, like while you're walking around, and showing you stuff like that. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
New phones have a breathalyzer or a chip for anyone to use.
Not exactly the kind of thing we're looking for. So
no, a belt with a USB port to charge your phone.
But then that one, there's a comment that says like this, and it's a link to that. Yeah. So sometimes there are edit that stuff already does exist. So
an app that makes responsible drinking easier.
Well,
but I'm really curious because and right above it, a Reddit timer, so you know how long you have to wait before posting again. Wait, you actually have to wait before you can't post that many times?
I didn't know that. I'm not sure.
Huh.
Apparently.
Wow, I'll have to read that because that seems. How frequently are you posting?
Right.
That you actually hit that problem? Type that fast, and I type for a living.
Maybe it has to do with reply. I don't know. It seems like you'd be able to just reply to a whole bunch of things. Maybe it stops you from that. Maybe that's what it is.
I'd like there to be a drunk buddy app for phones that I won't read this because I'm just taking up too much time here. But
yeah, but when you have a minute, look it up on your phone and work. Just kind of pour through. But like I said, I was hoping that we could come up with something here or something somewhere else. You know what I mean? Just finding these ideas that are.
I like that, and because I was kind of thinking about that the other day, and I guess I even expanded that to like. 3,000 to 5,000 a month. You can, not home run businesses, but consistent businesses that or products or services that would consistently bring in $2,000 to $4,000 a month or $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And if you could stack up 3 to 5 of those,
right?
Now you have a pretty good income, and if it's taking you 4 hours a week to manage each one of those, you're still less than a full-time job.
Correct. Yep.
If you will, so that or managing all those could be your full-time job. Yeah, so I'm all about that. I think that would be that's a really good line of thinking to kind of go down and brainstorm those. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and I think that maybe a good way to partner on it is just to so you and I could do whatever. I mean, because if you can put I could probably do 4 hours a week, right?
Mhm.
And you could do 4 hours a week. Now we're 8 hours a week. You know, on one
Exactly.
project, we can get something up and running.
Yep.
And it's the ideas are something that you're pretty sure you're going to make 1,000 a month, but if they're around for 2 years, they turn into 5,000 a month. You know, like
Exactly.
that type of thing.
Exactly. Yep.
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
so we just kind of have this pool of things that are happening, and
Yep.
whether they're just cheap little iPhone apps or they're just stupid stuff with ads or whatever.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly it. Drop shipping or whatever it
Mhm.
might be.
Yeah,
Things that doesn't take things that you can do from home that you don't have to keep inventory yourself.
right, correct, exactly. Yep,
So that just kind
yep,
of covers the gamut.
yeah, yep, exactly. So yeah, we'll have a think about that. And then,
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely read through some of that. This one looks pretty funny, so I definitely want to read through this. But the Drunk Buddy app, so an app that makes responsible drinking easier.
what is it? What is it talking about?
I haven't gotten through the entire description,
Oh,
but I saw a snarky reply in a comment.
you know what? I can't. I will forward you this. What is it? Let me just see which email I have for you. Shoot, I don't know. Let me check. See, I don't want you to have to say it. That's the problem. Let me check your profile.
What are you talking about?
Oh, your email address is your full name, right? The one that is JEREMY at.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I'll forward this to you. Yeah, so that's another thing that I signed up for. I got, and some of those are pretty cool too. Like I said, just even if only a few of them are any good, maybe as a springboard to thinking about it.
Oh, this is terrible. Read that description when you get a chance. You'll get a laugh out of it.
Which description? Oh, of the drinking buddy.
Yes.
What page is it on?
I don't know. I'll just send you the link.
Yeah.
But anyway, we can probably cut here, and then we can read this and laugh at this.